Welcome back, and today we want to create the pilings on top of this simple structure, on the rooftop of this simple structure. Now we want to begin with first of all a placement of the cleats, because the cleats will define the slope of our pilings and the slope of our sheets on top of this structure. Now if you take a closer look here, you can see we have 4 points here. I'm going to use these 4 points to create a cleat that will then be supported with a stiffener, and I'll go straight away and begin. I'll come to steel here, then pick on the plate, and I want to create a contour plate here, and just follow the points here and snap on that spot and snap on that spot to close the loop. Now I'm going to double click on the same plate and bring it forward by clicking on position in depth and click apply. So the moment I click apply, you can see this plate is exactly at the edge here, so there's no way we can place a stiffener on that side, so we have to give it an offset inward or to inside of this beam by 150. So I'll right click and come to special move here and click linear, then I'll change it to 0. Then I'm going to move it towards the y-axis or the x-axis by 150. So on the x-axis, I'm going to just type 150 and click move. So once I've moved it like that, I'm going to populate it along this member at a distance of 1.96. So I'll right click once again and come to special copy and pick on linear right there. Then on the x-axis, I'm going to just type 1960 like that, and I'm going to add the count to 4 and click copy and close that. So if I zoom out, I'll be able to see I have this already in place, but this is exactly at the center. But at the center here, it might bring some clashes, because at the center this is where we intend to place or to fix our variegator that will be draining water coming from this end, so sloping to the center, and coming from that end, sloping to the center to the variegator. Now I'm going to give it an offset outside, and another one offset. Once I've done on offset the other side, so if once we've defined the slope, we'll just mirror everything to come this far end. So let me right click and come to special move here and pick on linear. So against the x-axis, I'm going to prefix my dimension by a negative sign, so I'm going to feed there 400, and I'm going to click move. So the moment I click move, I'll be able to give an offset away from the center, but still there will be some clashes, and I'm going to add another 100. 100 will be okay. Let me just give it 100 right there, and that's okay now. Now on the same member, I want to place a point right here. I'll place a point right there, and this point I'm going to bring it down by 50. Let me just take it down by 50, and let me change everything to 0 and prefix my 50 by negative sign and click move. So the moment I click move, I have my point at this point, at that location. So my slope will be defined from this end, from that point to the top of this one here. So my cleat size will be reducing towards the center of this particular structure. Now I'm going to trim these plates using a profile or using a part. So I'll go to steel, then come to steel beam, then I'm going to snap right at the top here, then move all the way to the center or to the point that I had created, that one there, and I'm going to select on that, then press Control W. It is at the center now, but this moment it's way small. It's not enough. The surface area is not enough to trim this member accurately. So I'm going to double click on it to change this profile size, and I'll click on that section there and come all the way here and pick a bigger one, and I can pick maybe 150 like that, and click select and give it an OK like that, and click OK. Now if I switch to view line 1, and you can see the slope, how the slope has been defined. this member, the clit will be trimmed all the way to this far end here. Now let me switch back to 3D view, and I want to trim or cut off these clips now. I'll come to edit here. Now under edit, I'm going to cut, and I'm going to cut by boundary. I'm using by boundary because you can see this is a hollow section. So if I cut it by part, it will only cut the thickness by thickness of this hollow section. But if I use the boundary, anything that falls in the boundary inside this member will be trimmed off. Let me just begin by applying this. I'll pick on this member to be cut and that member to cut. If I click on that, that has been trimmed off. So I want to cut this by that. No, I want to cut this by that. Do you need to delete the cutting object? No. And I want to cut this using that, and I click no. And I want to, there's no any cut that we need to cut there because that one will remain as it is. So I'll delete this one. So I want to delete that and switch back to my line A, or view from line A. You can see how the slope is. It has sloped in that direction. So if I come to 3D view and begin placing the stiffeners, and also always remember to save your work because you never know, you might lose power, or your computer might lose power and you end up losing everything. Now we want to apply stiffeners here, and to apply stiffener, I'll come to point and snap at the center of this member right there. Then click on that point, right click and come to spatial copy and come to linear, and I want to copy it towards the opposite direction of x-axis, and I'm going to prefix my dimension by 100. So I just type 100 right there and click copy. So the moment I've clicked copy, I'll go back and check whether it is in the position that will be able to work with it. So it is okay. I'm going to pick on this member, on this point once again, and right click and come to spatial copy once again, and I want to copy it in the direction of z-axis. So under z-axis, I'm going to feed in 100. So once I've picked 100 right there, I'm going to click OK or click close. So I'm going to copy this point, right click and come to copy, and I'll copy it from that spot and I'll place it on top of that member, on top of that point. I'll come back to steel, then come to plate, and I want to create another control plate using the 3 points, the 4 points I've just created like that. Let me snap on that spot. So you can see I have a plate, I have points here already created. You can see that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a chamfer. I'm going to chamfer this member. So how do I do that? I'll just select on that. Then I'll come to chamfer here. I'll come to chamfer there. I'll pick on chamfer. Once I've picked on chamfer there, I'll pick the chamfer type, and I'll feed maybe 40-40 and click OK. Or I can feed 50-50. Let me just type in 50-50 right there and click apply. So I have applied my chamfer in place, and my chamfer is in place, and that's how it looks. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to weld this member to that. So I'll come to auto weld and weld this member to that, or weld that member to that, and weld this to this, and weld that to that. So you can see that has been welded. So what I'm going to do once again is just to copy this stiffener to the rest of the members. So I'm going to pick copy, and I'm going to pick it from the bottom end here. Just zoom close, and I'm going to populate it like that. Snap on that spot, and I have that in place. So I'll come here and place another one right here. Perfect. So I'll have to place another one right at the bottom here. Make sure your snap is accurate. So I'll have another one at the bottom end here, right there. So my clips are in place, or is in place, and the welding for this member has not been done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to weld this member to that member. So I think we'll meet on the next presentation, and I'll show you how we can populate these to the rest of the parts, to the rest of the other sections, and we'll begin by laying the purlins. So let's meet then on the next part of this presentation. Bye bye.